They say death doesn't like to be cheated, that when your time comes, it comes. And if somehow you slip through, death doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. It simply reroutes. This is the story of two strangers whose fates were woven together long before they ever met. One survived what should have killed him. The other walked into a moment she was never supposed to be part of. And when their paths finally crossed, the design completed itself. June 2025. Bloomington, Minnesota. Federal immigration officer Jonathan Ross approaches a vehicle. Routine stop, routine day. But the driver panics, hits the gas, and Ross is dragged. Metal and asphalt tear into him. 33 stitches, blood loss. The kind of circumstances that could have killed him. But they didn't. Ross survived. He walked out of that hospital. He returned to duty. He thought he'd beaten the odds. He didn't realize he hadn't beaten anything. He'd only postponed it. January 7th, 2026. 7 months later, Renee Good wakes up in Minneapolis. A poet, a mother, a wife. She wasn't planning to be anywhere dangerous that morning, but her wife asks her to come along, just for support. Their mission was to protest federal agents, ICE officers. A small decision, a simple yes. Renee didn't know it yet, but she had just accepted an invitation from something that doesn't take no for an answer. They arrive on Portland Avenue. Renee pulls across the road, appearing to block traffic. Someone else who seemed to be doing the same thing decides to drive off as ICE officers pull up. That car pulls off first. It could have been her. She could have taken that spot, could have left when they left. But she didn't. She stopped and waited. And in that small hesitation, just seconds, she let the other car go ahead and sealed her fate. If she had pulled off first, she would have been gone before the agents ever approached. But death needed her to wait, so she waited. Within seconds, officers approach. Her wife, outside of the car, confronts them, taunts them, holds a phone in one agent's face. "You want to come at us? Go get yourself some lunch, big boy." The tension rises. More officers arrive. They pull at Renee's door handle. "Get out of the car." She doesn't. "Get out of the car." Her wife, now locked out, screams through the window, "Drive, baby, drive." And in that exact moment, Renee looks forward and sees a man standing directly in front of her car. She doesn't know who he is. She doesn't know that 7 months ago, he was dragged by a vehicle just like hers. She doesn't know that his hand is already moving toward his gun, not because of what she's doing, but because of what someone else did to him months before they ever met. Here's what no one talks about. Every single piece had to align for this to happen. Her wife had to ask her to come. She had to say yes. Another car had to pull off first. She had to wait instead of leaving. She had to park in that exact spot. She had to stay instead of driving away when she had the chance. Her wife had to escalate, had to yell, "Drive." And out of all the federal agents in Minneapolis that day, the one who positioned himself in front of her car had to be the one man who had already been dragged by a vehicle. The one man whose body remembered before his mind could think. Remove any single piece, any one, and Renee Good is alive today. But you can't remove them, because they already happened. That's the thing about death's design. It doesn't need to chase you. It just needs to wait for all the pieces to fall into place. Jonathan Ross didn't die in June 2025. But death wasn't cheated. It was redirected. The other car pulled away. Renee stayed. A wife said, "Come with me." A wife said, "Drive." A man who could have died 7 months earlier stood in front of a car one more time. And on a cold January morning, in front of an elementary school, the pattern completed itself. Renee Good wasn't supposed to be there. But death doesn't care what's supposed to happen. It only cares about what does.